I think people don't do well in a vacuum. Organizations quite often hold back information and don't necessarily share as much as they can. They sort of share bits and pieces, but not as much as they can. I'm all for trying to keep the teams as informed as possible at all times of the context of the work that they're doing. Because I think if you don't have the context for the work that you're doing, it's very hard to be motivated. So I have 7 direct reports, and I work very closely with them. They're all different, so I make sure I treat them differently. I think one of the dangers as a manager is that you have your way of managing your team, and then you manage them that way, and they have to adapt to your style. But actually, I don't think that you get the best out of people that way. So I very much adapt my style to work with each of them based on how they operate.
Okay.
They all manage big teams as well.
Yep.
So, well, big and small teams actually. So there's a degree to which I hope that then translates and they then manage their teams that way. I'm not too hierarchical in terms of the way that I operate. I try and share as much information with my teams as possible. I think people don't do well in a vacuum. Organizations quite often hold back information and don't necessarily share as much as they can. They sort of share bits and pieces, but not as much as they can. I'm all for trying to keep the teams as informed as possible at all times of the context of the work that they're doing. Because I think if you don't have the context for the work that you're doing, it's very hard to be motivated. You don't know what you're contributing. You sort of get to the point where sort of, why am I coming to work every day? I'm just churning stuff out, but I don't really see how it fits. So I try and make sure I communicate as much as possible to my direct reports and set an example to them in terms of how they might want to communicate with their teams.
So you're very much of the coaching type of manager, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, they probably accuse me of being a dictator every now and then, but
that's another word for coaching, no?
Yeah, well, we'll have the conversations and, we'll have a debate, and then in the end I'll be like, it's not a democracy though. We've got to get stuff done. But yeah, I would like to think I'm approachable and I make myself available. And the fact is I don't have a deep technology kit bag in terms of my background. And so I rely on them being the experts in their domains, and I see my role as creating the environment where they can be successful. And to do that, they need to feel that they can share with me what they need to, whether it's frustration at me or at something else, whether it's anxiety about something that's keeping them awake at night, whether it's needing a pat on the back for having achieved all of those things. And if I can keep them motivated and I can keep them feeling like they have my support and they have someone who can provide them with some direction or some thought-provoking views when they're wrestling with one of their problems, that's my role. A lot of them have quite deep technical knowledge of the verticals and their applications. So to try and impose might be pointless, right?